What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DeltronZ Den. We are here with
MissTeena 210.
MissTeena. Where did we first meet? Was that Wonderland?
It was at Wonderland at Alamo Hero.
Was it Alamo Hero?
Yeah, Alamo Hero. Big Hero. That's a Big Hero 6. That's a movie.
I love that movie, but I love that movie though.
I do. I love that one too. You're right. Alamo Hero.
And Alamo Hero Con, man, that was such a busy day too.
It was a busy day. It was a very odd day, but it was busy.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Now, you've been cosplaying for some time.
Yeah.
How long has it been now?
So originally when I first started cosplaying, it was a little over 10 years ago, and it was for Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. See, now I'm blank too.
Who created Nightmare Before Christmas?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton's Ball.
There you go.
Yeah,
yes,
so that's where I originally started. So it was once a year. I just did it every year for Burton's Ball. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I got really heavy into doing other events and more events and more events. And it just kind of snowballed after these last few years, yeah.
Now, getting into cosplaying, like if an individual wanted to understand like the process, like how tedious was it in the beginning? Like was there challenges?
Well, the beginning was super easy because I always stuck to the same character.
Now, getting into cosplaying, like if an individual wanted to understand like the process, like how tedious was it in the beginning? Like was there challenges?
Well, the beginning was super easy because I always stuck to the same character. I always just did Catwoman. And that was for the Burton's Ball. I just always did Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. After that, I think my first horror one was Freddy Krueger.
Ooh.
That one was a lot rougher for me because I went into the SFX makeup. I've always been into makeup. I'm a makeup artist. I've always done makeup, but never SFX makeup.
Okay.
So I had attempted to do like half of my face, and I didn't realize how hard it was. And I only did like a little partial bit of my eye here. And I was like this is it. This is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm going with. Let's just go with it.
But now you have the experience now.
Yes.
Now you have all that experience.
I definitely do. I feel like it comes a lot easier. I do a horror nurse. I've been getting a lot quicker with her. Both of my eyes are like they're gouged out and bloody, and I feel like I've gotten a lot quicker with her now. I know really what I need to do, so how to prep for her. So it does come a lot, you know, because some of those looks can take hours.
I would imagine for sure. Now, when you decide to like start a new character, is it something that you constantly do? So like each event, is it the same character?
No, now I am doing different characters for everything. I try to go to the theme of the event. So if it's horror, I try to stick with a horror character. If it's anime, stick with an anime character. I like to start projects and not finish them.
Your ADHD?
Yes.
With your projects?
And not only ADHD, I like wait to the very last minute and finish it like the day before the con or the day of the con.
That sounds like me for sure.
So I have to have sometimes I have to have backups that I've already done, because if I don't like the way it comes out after I put it on, I'll just rip it all off and start all over again.
How long does that Poison Ivy one take?
Poison Ivy is no time because she doesn't have a lot of intricate makeup. It's more of like styling the wig and putting all the pieces together. So she didn't take too long. It wasn't maybe an hour and a half process for her. But if it's makeup, it's definitely a lot different. The makeup is what takes me the longest. Yeah.
Okay. Now, coming up with different ideas for different types of cosplays, even for the future, is it something that do you come up with your own ideas, or is it more of something that somebody gave you a request to do?
No, normally it's my own idea.
Good.
I really like to do my own stuff, and I really like to do things that either one, I know nobody else is gonna do, or something that somebody will be like, what are you doing? So I was invited out to Retro City. I don't know if you know Retro City. I was invited out to the Labyrinth one they did. Of course, everybody thought I was gonna do like either David Bowie or Jennifer, what is her name? I don't know what her name is.
Jennifer.
Yeah, whatever her character was. Everybody always thinks that I'm gonna do one of those characters, and I totally did not. I went as Ludo, and he's this big monster, and like he's furry, and yeah, it was great. And by the end of it, like nobody even realized that it was me until I was like, "Hey, that was me in there," and they're like, "What?" I like to do some weird stuff sometimes.
Cosplaying has its adventures for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you see people and they don't recognize you.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge,
the biggest compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It really is, because that's the whole point, is transforming myself into somebody else. So
now I've seen a lot of horror more recently that you've been doing. Talk about that. What do you like about the horror aspect?
Well, I'm very into just horror movies in general. I've always liked the horror genre. I really wanted to dip into doing some horror, but I also wanted to elevate my makeup into something else. So the SFX and the horror just went really well together. So I created the nurse.
Which looks really good.
Her name is Nurse Death. And it came out amazing. The first time I did it, I actually didn't go anywhere because I didn't know how it looked, and then there was some other things involved. But I'm kind of glad that we didn't leave, because I wasn't really too happy with it. But then
not really?
Yeah, I wasn't really. But then the second time I did it, I felt like, okay, this is it. This is how I wanted it to look.
The confidence was there.
Yeah. And then the third time, it was much easier. So I'm definitely going to keep bringing her back. She's going to be a staple in my cosplay.
Really good.
Thank you.
She looks really good.
Thank you.
Now, just the other day, you were on a radio station with Yumicon.
Yes, on KSYM, the Urban Suite with Mickey and Cheryl. They are amazing people. I go way back with them. Yes. I go way back with them. I used to throw hip hop events, and that's kind of snowballed into with the cosplay, because one of the guys that I used to work with the hip hop shows, I used to do shows at Kurova, and he ran Kurova at the time. So his name is Angel, and Angel's the one who does Kings of Horror. He's the one who does the Burton's Ball. So it all just kind of like came together.
Yeah. And it all came,
so
cool.
It worked out perfect,
I really liked, and that's why I asked you to come on. When I saw you the other night on the radio station, and I heard you on the radio station, I think it was really cool that you brought those two those two companies together, and you said, "Hey, let's work together." Do you like doing that for people? Do you like connecting with people?
I do. I'm extremely social, so everywhere I go, I like to talk to people. So I like to network a lot, and it's just, you never know who you're going to meet. So
right,
it's just,
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes, and this is probably a random topic to bring up, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Being able to socialize, I think it's really important.
I've always been social, so it's really hard for me to not do it during COVID. Had a really hard time staying in. It was really rough with me. I felt like I was like locked away and I couldn't get out. So once it was over, I felt amazing because I was able to get back out and talk to people again. I really needed it. I had cabin fever so bad. I think everybody should give it a chance,
For sure. And
it's not for everybody either. Right. So I understand that,
get back out there, start communicating with individuals, going to events.
Because it's not as bad as everybody thinks it is,
No, it's not.
Because I'm social, but I also just like to sit back and watch sometimes. So it's not all the time that I'm like out there talking to everybody. Sometimes I like to sit back and watch who's doing what.
Now, some of these events that you do go to, they have like after parties, they have like those types of things that go on. They're drinking, they're having fun, socializing. What has been your experience during those events?
There's probably only one that I didn't feel comfortable with, and I will never support that con again. YumiCon and Etchy Fiesta, Mochi Fest, all of those have been amazing. Like, I've always felt safe.
For these events, I don't really get to ask too many people, and I think this is a perfect time to ask, Why is that so important for the cosplayers to make sure that it feels safe for them?
We just want to make sure that everybody knows just cosplay is not consent. So you cannot touch me. You can't, you still have to respect me just because I'm in cosplay.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm not a toy that you can play with. So it's very important to feel safe. And I feel like most events that have been Club Kaiju have felt totally safe. I feel like a lot of them are really
for sure. I mean,
taking it serious.
Things have significantly changed over the past 10 years from my personal experience going to cons. And yeah, at one point in time, it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people that were friends of mine that were complaining about people just inappropriately touching.
Yeah.
And it was pretty difficult back then.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I feel like now people are able to talk about it more, especially because of social media has made that open platform.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's a lot easier now to talk about than it was before.
Oh yeah, for sure. So on your upcoming events, what's coming up for you?
Next weekend is Texas Frightmare, and that is one of the biggest horror conventions in Texas. And I am so excited. I am just like, I can't wait. Working on my cosplay. I'm going to try it on tonight, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
To make sure that everything works out really well. I'm going to do the horror nurse one day. Another day is going to be the Bride of Frankenstein. So that's the one I'm working on.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
So
now, clearly Halloween is probably the biggest month for horror.
Yes. There are so many more events before Halloween that I haven't even got to Halloween yet. I haven't, because the next big one is Houston Horror Film Festival, and that one is huge as well. And the lineup so far looks amazing. There's also Comic Palooza in Houston, which they are bringing out Freddy Krueger. So I am gonna be there for that. So there is a lot.
Texas has a lot of cons.
Yeah,
Texas
and then of course the Kings of Horror have something like at least once a month. Like they're doing the Mommy Dearest this weekend for Mother's Day weekend.
So there's the Kings of Horror, and then there's the Queens of Horror, right?
So
or is that not them?
So that's them. So the Kings of Horror are the ones who do all the events. The Queens of Horror is an event.
Gotcha. It's its own separate entity.
Yeah. And that one, I think that's at the end of the month as well. That's the same weekend as Comic Palooza.
Okay.
So we're going to go Saturday to the Queens of Horror and then leave Saturday night to Houston to do Comic Palooza.
That's going to be fun. Yeah. Is there any sneak peek, any teasers that you've been thinking about that you've been possibly wanting to touch base on?
I don't think I really have any sneak peeks, really. I just do it when I do it. I don't feel like I'm like, one of these big giant cosplayers or anything like that where they do those kind of special things. I'm just a regular old cosplayer.
I don't know. I think it could be fun sometimes. I think I know I recently started doing it. These shirts that I get are from Death by Reps. They really supported DeltronZ, and I really supported them. But there was a shirt that came out, and it was a Ninja Turtle shirt. I mean, Ninja Turtle shirt everywhere. You guys saw the den. The one that I teased, it had a shredder, and it had all 4 heads of the turtles, and it was like I sneak peeked each and every one of them as the days went on.
I never really thought about it, I guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But if individual wanted to go and find you, talk to you, ask you any type of questions about your cosplay and your journey, where could they go and find you? MissTeena 210 on Instagram. It's actually MissTeena 210 across the board on most social medias. I think TikTok is the only one that is MissTeena 210 SA. Because I did originally have TikTok with MissTeena 210, and I got banned. So I had to create a new one. Stop being nasty on there. It was, we were at a House of Erotic show, and gotcha. And and I posted a little video, and I used Rihanna's S&M song, and got banned. So, but there's so much more worse out there. There literally is. Nobody was nude. Nah. Yeah, they just picking on San Antonio people. That's what they be doing. Yeah. So I had to start all over. So I'm
mostly on Instagram is really where I'm at. So
Instagram is always popping in some type of way,
Yeah.
whether it's threads or the platform itself or its story. No, I appreciate you coming on in. Is there anybody that you want to be able to shout out?
Moni, I don't know if you guys know Moni. She's XO Moni is her stage name, and it's Momo_magic_XO. She is an anime rapper, and she is amazing. So shout out to Moni. Y'all go check her out. She is my fave. And then, of course, everyone at KSYM, Mickey and Cheryl, Yumicon, Avion Marie, she's always supporting me. She's another cosplayer. Maddie Mason, Spider Gmo, Gmo Spider. She's from Houston. Dr. Death, of course, can't forget him. Let's see who else. There's
just so many.
There's a lot. Yeah, definitely. Houston Horror Film Festival, Texas Frightmare, all of the Kings of Horror, all of them. Anyone who does horror, shout out to them.
Now, I do want to touch one final thing. Is that, do you give yourself enough credit?
No.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like I can always do better. I don't know. I just don't. I get yelled at all the time about it. Yeah.
Well, everything that you've been able to do, the people that you've been able to connect together, even doing this, getting yourself out there, I want to give you enough credit for that, because it's very important for you to be able to understand that you do a lot for yourself, and you need to be able to take the time to sit there and look at what you've accomplished. And just by watching you within the short amount of time that we've met, you've been accomplishing a lot. So I just want to be able to appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. You're gonna make me cry.
And don't forget to check out all the additional social media down below. And of course, don't forget to go follow Miss Teena on Instagram. And we out.
Thank you.